What is up, people? It is me, Monster58. Welcome back to another video review, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Animated Universe Fugitive Waspinator, and essentially the character that is Bad Bumblebee, but that is doing the character disservice. To my remembrance, it's been a very long time since I've watched animated, but if I remember correctly, he was essentially an Autobot that was captured and essentially like tortured and tried for crimes or things he didn't commit, and because of how badly they treated him, he ended up turning into a Decepticon. So if you guys know the original Legacy United Deluxe Class Bumblebee, this is essentially the same figure, just with a new head sculpt and some new paint. So taking a look at this, Transformers Age of the Primes, you can see the Fugitive Waspinator. Even though it doesn't say Animated Universe, we all know he's from Animated. Transforms in 22 steps. You do have some nice artwork here of Waspinator in both his robot as well as his vehicle form. You have the more nice artwork here of the Primes. You have more nice artwork here of Waspinator himself. And then you have the obligatory product shots. Now, funnily enough, I know it shows that the plastic is a very bright purple on here. I'll tell you this, it's not as bright purple as it shows on here, but with your obligatory product shots, it does look pretty cool still. You have the nice Prime like icons right there, which is always really cool. But as per usual, I think Hasbro kills it with the box, and so without further ado, alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here we have the Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Animated Universe Fugitive Waspinator in his vehicle form, and I gotta say, guys, he looks pretty cool. Now, like I said, I don't think that the purple is quite as vibrant as how it's shown on the back of the box, but when we're taking a look at the purple in general, it does look pretty cool. So you can see nice purple windshield, nice black stripe. Essentially, this is the Bumblebee vehicle form, which it exactly is, just with this new coat of paint. This nice sort of teal, greenish color. I really do like it, and I think it looks good. You have the nice Decepticon logo up here, but unfortunately it is a bit drowned out, and you can even see that on the camera and in real life right now. I have like natural lighting, using the lighting because it's very sunny outside, but at the end of the day, like, that is very washed out, and that kind of sucks. It's hard to see, but you can at least see an inkling of a Decepticon logo there, and it does have nice detail. You just have to look real close at it. But the nice police light right there, and then when you compare the original Bumblebee to this guy, you have the purple plastic here for the jet slash the electric, shocker things that Bumblebee had in purple instead of the clear plastic. Again, looks pretty good all the way around, except maybe the back is probably the worst part about him, because there's a lot of detail in there, or a good amount of detail. There's just not a lot of paint. So overall, when it comes to the vehicle mode, can't really complain with this. So overall, pretty solid. And so I'm going to be doing our size comparisons as per usual. So we are going to set Waspinator off to the side there. And here he is with the Transformers Legacy United Deluxe Class Infernac Universe Magnus. Now, the one thing I did say about this figure that I said in the original Bumblebee review, which, by the way, if you haven't seen the Bumblebee review, I'll leave a link in the upper right now so you guys can go and take a look at that. This is a small deluxe. He's a very small figure, and although that is a bit unfortunate, considering, that you'd expect the deluxe class price point to have a little more plastic, deluxe, can range from almost Voyager size to Voyager size. It just depends on the engineering, right? And so I also think it fits both Bumblebee and obviously Waspinator, since they're just the same, like they're the same mold, right? And the same alt modes, everything like that. So and being Bumblebee's always been a very small character, so it ends up working out here. So taking a look, you can see there is a pretty big size difference between these two. You can see overall, I mean, obviously, yeah, you can complain about that, and I can totally understand that, but from like a display perspective and a scale perspective, for me, I have no real major issue with it, just because of the nature of who Waspinator is. Alrighty, folks, and here he is with the original Transformers Legacy United Animated Universe Deluxe Class Bumblebee, and as you can see, these two look great together. The lights, I believe they're actually the same gold color. Maybe Waspinator's is a bit more green-ish to match him, but overall, I mean, these two do look really cool together. You can see there's really not that much difference between them besides the paint and the color of the plastic on the windshield, as well as the plastic for the jet boosters slash electric shocker things, weapons that Bumblebee had. But yeah, so overall, when it comes to comparing these two look really awesome together. Alrighty folks, now it's time to get into the transformation. And when it comes to the transformation, I'll tell you this, it's not super simple like air raid or slingshot, but it also isn't super complicated to the point where it's frustrating. Now, when it comes to transformations of any figure that is a repaint, a retool, and a slight remold, as long as the transformation doesn't have any like small differences or anything like that, I tend to skip the transformation. And so click that link in the upper right that I had before to the Bumblebee review, or click the link in the description so you guys can take a look at the transformation if you wish to do so. But like I said, it's really not a bad transformation at all. And so we're going to take Waspinator from looking like this in his vehicle mode and into this in his robot mode. And so when we're taking a look at the robot mode for Waspinator, he looks really good. The only major thing that's been changed with him and Bumblebee is really that face sculpt. And so let's take a look at it. So taking a look at the face sculpt, it looks really, really awesome. Like, it looks cool. The mask part is really awesome. The purple eyes, the head crest for the green, right, and this teal. It just all looks really good. What I'll do real quick is we're going to put a picture of the animated Waspinator, the Fugitive Waspinator right here. So you guys can just see I did the same thing with Bumblebee, so I'll do the same thing here with Waspinator. Because when it comes to the animation model, at the end of the day, sure, this is a bit chunkier than what they were, but at the same time, I'm okay with it. It, you know, kind of puts a little spin on it, and it still is that character, just in a little bit of a more modernized way of approaching the design, right? And I can appreciate that. I still think it looks amazing. I think it's a great looking figure. But more of the details, obviously, like I told you, that Decepticon logo is a bit hard to see. But you do have the nice arm detail here. See, you nice on the forearms right there. Nice down here to the arms. Nice down here to the hands on the arms as well. Crotch piece right here. Some decent detail throughout there. Overall, when it comes to this figure, I have no major complaints with it either, because I never really had any major complaints with the original Bumblebee. And when it comes to the quality control of this guy, it's pretty much the same exact thing as Bumblebee. He's very tight. Everything feels good. Plastic feels real good as well. Nothing seems out of place on this guy in comparison to Bumblebee. I argue that Waspinator is even a little bit tighter when it comes to the joints than Bumblebee is. And so overall, when it comes to this figure, I really have no complaints, and I think it's a great addition to the animated lineup. And I'm really hoping we'll get like Megatron or Starscream, Lugnut. It would be awesome. Blitzwing. I'd love to see obviously Bulkhead in there as well, just so that people can get the full team if they want Ratchet as well. Just to have all those characters is going to be real cool, hopefully going forward. So hope to see them in the line or in future lines sooner rather than later. So we're going to do our usual size comparisons though. So we are going to set Waspinator off to the side here, and I'm actually going to zoom out just a little bit because Magnus is a little bit taller. Alrighty folks, here he is with the Transformers Legacy United Infernac Deluxe Class Infernac Universe Magnus. As you can see, Magnus is more of the average deluxe size, and then you can see with Waspinator here, just like Bumblebee, he is a small deluxe figure. But again, it fits his character, fits the size, fits the alt mode. I have no major complaints. I know people will still have complaints about it, but given his character, I'm absolutely okay with it. Alrighty folks, here he is with the Transformers Legacy United Animated Universe Deluxe Class Bumblebee. As you can see, these two look great together, and you know, these two are arch rivals, they hate each other and everything like that, so it's really cool. And I love how that they're contrasting Waspinator with Bumblebee, right, like a bee and a wasp, like that's really cool to me that they did that in animated, and I definitely appreciated that as a kid when I saw Waspinator. I was like, oh, it's a wasp versus a bee, oh, that's pretty cool. But overall, when it comes to how these two look together, they look awesome together, and it's cool to have the arch rivals next to each other. Alrighty folks, it's time to get into the accessory implementation. Just like I said, he has the same gimmicks as Bumblebee does, so I will show you that you can do the thing where he has his little shock thingies on his hands, like this. You can fold those in, fold that panel out, then rotate these around, and then you can get the, you can get his essentially, right, the, where he can put the, little shock blasters. So you can see those two little tab holes there on the front, and then when you come here to the jet boosters, you can obviously remove these bits, and then you can peg them together like so, like that, and then we can come here and we can do our best. It's a little bit annoying. This is it was annoying with Bumblebee too, so you just gotta find the right angles here. Like that. There you go. And we have Waspinator with his version of the, essentially the shock weapon that Bumblebee would use. And in addition to that, you can take these, and I like to do this. You have the two pegs on the back from the vehicle mode, with, and you can just peg these on as like jetpack That's really cool. I always found that cool. And that's how I actually have Bumblebee, is I just have them attached there. I don't even have him holding the shock weapons in his hand. But the fact is, you can do that just like you did with Bumblebee, and the implementation is just as sort of good, but also a little bit janky, because it's a little bit annoying to get that pegged in together. But once you get this pegged in on the arms, it stays there pretty well. Alrighty, now it's time to get into the articulation, and this is where this figure is actually surprisingly good for a deluxe class figure, and it's a real shame coming from Q earlier in the week, but what are you going to do, right? But this guy is very, very well articulated, almost as well as articulated as Gears was, but not quite. But head is on the ball joint, so you can look up really far, you can look down a decent bit as well, and you can obviously do a full 360. Now, you can also have the arms go up and down like this, they rotate perfectly fine, but you can't necessarily do a full 360 just because of how they're designed, which kind of sucks. But the good thing about them is that they have kind of this like weird joint here, so you can get some more like interesting poses with him, like he's running or something like that. You have a full waist joint, you can kick forward pretty far, you can kick back pretty far, you have 90 degrees, a little more, actually more than 90 at the knees, rotation to the upper part of the thigh, and then you have some pretty decent ankle rock. Actually, come on, there you go. He has some pretty decent ankle rocker pivots. The joints are a bit tight. But overall, when it comes to the articulation, if you look at the poses I put Bumblebee in the photo section at the end of the review last time, you'll see what I mean, that this guy actually moves around quite well, despite how small he is, and I think he's very well articulated. The only shame is he has no, actually he does. Oh wow, yeah, that is one thing I missed, and I apologize for that. But yes, he even has wrist articulation. And that was the big plus I guess I was missing. But yes, he has wrist articulation, and that's obviously a huge plus when it comes to just a deluxe figure. A lot of Voyagers don't even have that. And so guys, it's time for the reverse transformation. And just like the transformation to robot mode, I'm not going to be showing it here. Please click the link in the description to the Bumblebee review if you do wish to see the full transformation. But like I said, it's really not that frustrating, and it's not super simple either. So we're going to take Waspinator from looking like this in his robot mode, and back into this in his vehicle mode. And so guys, for my final and concluding thoughts on the Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Animated Universe Fugitive Waspinator, this guy is really, really amazing. If you liked Bumblebee, you're gonna like this figure. I mean, this figure is really, really well done. The only qualms I have with it are that the fact that the shoulders don't have the best articulation, and in addition to that, I also think that when you're transforming this guy back to his vehicle mode, the most frustrating part is to get his rear trunk panel to line up with the rear fenders and those pegs. To get that all to peg in correctly is really annoying, and I'm not a big fan of it. But getting into the good, his vehicle mode looks awesome, very representative of how it appeared on the show. I love the purple, the paint looks great, it feels good, plastic also feels fantastic. Transformation, while not too simple like air raid or slingshot, is not super complicated to the point where it's frustrating. In addition to that, when you get to his robot mode, that new head sculpt is really, really awesome. I do think that the Decepticon logo is a bit annoying to see because it kind of gets drowned out because it's not outlined or anything, but what are you going to do? It's not that big a deal. But the new paint looks awesome. I like the neon green, very representative of how Waspinator appeared on screen, because at the end of the day, he was just essentially evil Bumblebee, right? I'm not trying to do disservice to the character, but when you look at it at a surface level, that's what he is. And so articulation was also really solid beyond the limitations there. And the transformation back, like I said, the only issue is getting that panel on essentially what the trunk would be to line up with the rear fenders. And so out of a 10, I'm going to give the same thing I gave Bumblebee and give this figure a 9. And it's really, really good, and I highly recommend it. I did pick mine up IRL, so if you decide to hunt this guy IRL, wish you the best of luck, but definitely go and check all of your local retailers right now, because this guy is hitting store shelves, and I wouldn't be surprised if you already happen to run into him or saw him at the store, decide not to get him. You might have the chance to if he's still there the next day. And so I will also leave links in for Big Bad Toy Store, Amazon, as well as Hasbro Pulse in the description if you guys wish to do the regular online retailer stuff, and those are the retailers that I would use to get this guy in your hands from an online retailer. And so I think that's it. And so thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, comment, rate, and subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Also follow me in the socials. Those will be linked in the description below. And with that, guys, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video review, and I'll catch you on the next one. And get ready for the next reviews, guys, because these are going to be, well, the second one's going to be a doozy next week. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.